Hey everyone, I am Sister Lily and welcome to Armory. So today we're taking a look at White Dwarf 391. Almost gave the wrong one. Jeez, I've got a pack of bits that's about to fall down. Oh well, it'll last until after the video. So, this White Dwarf came out. This White Dwarf came out around the time, well, came out the month that 6th edition 40k dropped. And honestly, from what little I learned and experienced of 40k, the White Dwarf was probably the best part. So yeah, while there's an ultramarine on the cover, that edition wasn't about the ultramarines. Now we've got some Blood Angels fighting alongside some Cadians with some Titans in the background, and the classic Sentinel kit that may not be a thing for much longer. We have the editorial, and this is where things deviated from the previous editions to a degree. So this edition's core starter set and promotional art was focused more around the Dark Angels. They were in the starter set, which wasn't launched alongside the edition, which is something I preferred about 8th edition and to a degree 9th, although 9th didn't get its starter set, well, 8th, actually yeah, 9th didn't get its starter set until a few weeks later. 8th also didn't get its starter set until a few weeks after the book came out, but that didn't matter so much because they'd also put out rules for free. They'd put out free version of the rules in 8th, and I think the same in 9th. But yeah, we have here the Warhammer, the standard rulebook, because the standard one that you could buy on its own was a hardcover. There were smaller paperbacks that came in starter sets and things that was treated like starter sets. Here we also have the collector's version of the core rules. I'm just going to move that over to this side because I kind of can't see the edge of my camera on this side. But yeah, and we have it with some gorgeous art of different characters. We've got a Grey Knight on here, we've got a Dark Angel, we have a White Scar, and we have Calgar in the corner. Then we have the Gamers Edition, which also came with the objectives and objective dice. The dice were available. This stuff here was available separately as part of a individual pack. Yes, that is a Lasgun power pack. So yes, and here we have a spruiking for finecast. Again, for finecast, some characterful orc characters. We have some more talk of finecast with a bit of a focus on the Inquisition. We have Space Marine. Remember when it was going to have dreadnoughts? Oh wait, no, that was actually a thing. They finally added dreadnoughts into the multiplayer of it. And yeah, there was Dawn of War 2 as well. But yeah, there was originally going to be a killer. It looked like you were going to be able to fight a killer can in there, which was pretty awesome. Hey, Black Crusade! It's been a long time since GW worked with Fantasy Flight. And there goes the backdrop. And then so we end up getting to talking about Simon Grant investigates the new rules and talks about it from there a bit. I'm mainly just going to flip through for the art. If you want to read this will probably be up on Warhammer Community, on the Warhammer Vault at some point. I'm just mainly going to look at the models. So yeah, this edition also introduced fortification. Well, there were two main changes this thing introduced. 3 if you count hull points. It added fortifications to the game, which gave armies the option to entrench themselves, as GW was pushing fortifications back then. They pushed them, but they didn't push them very well. I mean, fortifications were at their best in 6th, and even then they weren't all that amazing. Like the rules for things like the Imperial Bastion, Sky Shield Landing Pad were in the core rulebook, because they hadn't been in there previously. They'd only been in the Planetary Empires book, and that didn't provide you the option to take them for points. It only provided you with the option to field them as like a strategic asset. We also have this gorgeous army that I keep forgetting the name that the guy has given it, and that it has since been canonised. But yeah, that guard army has since then been added into the codex, and yeah, there's only a few more troops in here than actually no, I have a few more troops in my Hectarians than this guy has in this, and he worked for White Dwarf, so they submitted them in. So we also have the orcs fighting them. We have Flavors of Chaos. We have Night Lords with some Khorne Berserkers. We have Dark Angels. We have plentiful amount of Grey Knights. We have Chris Peach's Imperial Guard, which does he actually say what they are? No, I don't think he does. Ventilian Nobles, I think, is their name. I could be wrong though. We also have another interesting guard army that's full of that's got some abhuman assets for them as well. Which is neat. Is that the GW model or the Forge World model? No, I think it's the GW one. We have old Necrons. These models were the warriors were replaced in Indomitus. I think, yeah, those have stayed the same. Necron's got a big update during 5th. We have Stu Black's Orcs. We have David Heathfield and Neil Green's Orcs. We have Dave Andrews' Ultramarines. And these Ultramarines actually have featured in a few different Games Workshop publications over the years. I recognise the captain here from, I think it was when they launched the Planet Strike campaign book, which was the one that gave fortification rules prior. Hey, old Aquila thing. I think that might be the Skulls badge one. We have the Storm Talon and some well-painted Imperial Fists. Yellow is a colour a lot of people struggle with. Hey, the old classic... That is the old Venerable Dreadnought that GW used to do, for those who don't recognise it. Now, you'll notice I have a glove on at the moment. Unfortunately, my flesh is weak right now, and yeah, to save this video being a bit gory, I have a glove on. Don't worry, I'll be fine. Yeah, we have we have Simon Grant's Space Wolves, we have Emma Parrington's Space Wolves. Hey, 2 different Space Wolf players, cool. Also, yay, female. Who says girls aren't part of the hobby? I mean, to be fair, for me, girls have always been part of the hobby. Because I am one, contrary to what some people might think, looking at you. Certain members of a certain YouTuber's fandom. But also, one of my first games was with a Sister of Battle player who was a girl, who was allied with a guard player, and we were against Tau and Eldar. Yeah, we got stomped. I mean, it didn't help that I wasn't particularly good at the game, because, well, it was like my first game. And then we have the old battle forces. Look at these. These all went for the start collecting crisis. So, yeah, these all cost $150 Australian. And these are the kind of content you got in there. So for the Space Marine one, you got 15 tactical Marines. So 1 tactical squad and 1 combat squad. Combat squads were a thing you could buy back then. The combat squad didn't have special weapons or heavy weapons or sergeant upgrades. It was just 5 dudes with bolters. 5 scouts and 5 assault marines. 5 scouts and 1 rhino. Now back then, assault marines were pretty basic. They didn't have much more than a flamer plasma pistol in the set, and I think at most had a power sword or maybe a shield or something. They weren't the much nicer kit that got launched in 7th. We have the Blood Angels box, which is 10 Tactical Marines, 5 Death Company, 5 Assault Marines, and 1 Rhino. Back then, Assault Marines and I think Death Company as well were troops, which was neat. You have the Catachan one, which is 20 Guardsmen, 1 Heavy Weapons team, and one command squad and 1 Sentinel. The Cadian one is a mirror of that. Mind you, back when Cadians launched, they were 20 model. That 20 model box of Guardsmen was a $50 box that you could just buy. Then it got later split into 2 boxes because GW needed to make more money. Then there's the Space Wolf one, which is 20 Space Wolves, 5 Wolf Scouts, and a drop pod. Which I think the Wolf Scouts were the normal Scout squad, but with an upgrade kit. You've got the Ravenwing box, which is 6 Ravenwing Bikers, a Ravenwing Land Speeder, and a Ravenwing Attack Bike. So it'd be Bikers, Land Speeder, and Attack Bike, and then Ravenwing Upgrade Sprue. Chaos side came with 15 Chaos Space Marines, 8 Berserkers, 5 Possessed, and 1 Rhino. The Demons was 20 Bloodletters of Khorne, 10 Demonettes of Slaanesh, 10 Pink Horrors of Tzeentch, and 5 Seekers of Slaanesh. Orcs was 20 Boys, 3 Orc War Bikes, and an Orc Truck. Tyranids was Bio Horrors Go Brr. So 3 Warriors, 8 Gene Stealers, 16 Hermagants, and 16 Termagants. I find the number in that to be odd, but it's probably the maximum. It's just weird numbers. We had the Tower one, which was Crisis Battle Suit, Stealth, 3 Stealth Suits, 12 Fire Warriors, 12 Carnivores, and a Devilfish. Pretty decent starting army. Necrons was 20 Warriors, 5 Immortals / Death Marks, 1 Ghost Ark, Doomsday Ark, and 5 Canoptek Scarabs. Eldar one was 5 Dire Avengers, 8 Guardians, 1 Heavy Weapons platform, which I think was part of the Guardian squad technically, or could be taken as part of it. 1 Warwalker and 1 Wave Serpent. Dark Eldar box, 10 Calabite Warriors, 10 Witches, 3 Reaver Jet Bikes, and a Raider. Pretty decent. All of those were $150 each. Then we have here a battle report showing off the kind of new rules and the allying system. I forgot that they brought in allying. The points of value is a 2,500 point game. You see here some of the older metal models and resin models. So that. Oh no, we have Creed. We have Yukazar. Not Yukazar. We have Colour Sergeant Kel or Krell. We have an Astropath, and we have a Vox Operator. Actually, well, not a Vox Operator. A Master of Ordnance. Oops, you can't actually see it, can you? But yeah, we've also got a guard squad up there. We've got some infantry. We have we have a Primaris Psyker. And this was back when guard infantry was a platoon, so that's like two troop choices. Or as I say here, we've got Stormtrooper squad, because Scions were... Before Scions, there were Stormtroopers. And, oh, hey, these use the actual old Stormtrooper models. Bring the camera in. We've got Metal Librarian with the Grey Knight Terminator squad. We've got Guard Command Squad with Last Cannon. We've got a smattering of Guard troops, which I'd say is probably about 2 platoons worth. We've got Grey Knight Storm Raven Gunship, because back up until the 6th Dead Space Marine Codex, Grey Knights and Blood Angels were the only ones with the Storm Raven. That's why you'll find, if you get a Storm Raven, it doesn't have normal Space Marine chapter iconography on it, but it does have the Blood Angel and Grey Knight stuff in it. There's also a Valkyrie next to it. And then on the Chaos side, we have the old idea of Plague Marines. So we've got a fair bit of Nurgle here. We've got some Nurgle stuff, we've got some Khorne, some Zench and some Slanesh. Oh, you've got all 4 gods. And then we have the kind of big battlefield terrain that we see here. Now, I'm not going to show you the whole battle report, and I'm going to kind of skip through to past that, because I want you guys to read the battle report yourself. If this give me a moment. Begins 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so this magazine will probably be up on Warhammer Plus at some point. So yeah, now here we have the old Chaos Bastions and a Chaos Force being assaulted by some Imperials of the Space Wolves and Cadian variety. And this is kind of talking through fortifications and stuff. We also have we have a depiction of Catachans versus Eldar. Now, that terrain piece isn't legal. The problem with their handling of the terrain rules was they underdid it. There wasn't much in the way of room for conversions, and as a result, this loadout of this bunker is not actually represented in the rules. The most you could do is have it just with the heavy bolters, and then have this top section. This whole section here is an add-on. That being said, I would have loved rules to do that. And they didn't change it when they did the Stronghold Assault a year or 2 later. Then we have the Blood Angels Fortification, which has been the Fortress of Redemption, which has since been discontinued, sadly. We also have Honoured Imperium in the background. Yeah. So yeah, how much did they sell that for? This was an Australian copy, wasn't it? Ah yes, this White Dwarf doesn't have pricing in it. Don't you love that? Yeah, that little icon means it was a web store direct item, or GW Direct. Now, the rest of these were kind of around were around the $50 mark. Unfortunately, they have since been discontinued, all of them, which is kind of a shame. It's kind of a shame they're all gone, because they were neat kits. Not so much the Citadel wood, although there was an older version that was more modular that was far cooler. I have bits of it that I haven't finished. Yeah, so next we have Feldstorm Airfield, which is a continuation of the campaign from the last edition, from the last White Dwarf, which has the White Scars versus the Orcs. And apparently there was a battle went well for the Orcs. Next we have a Tau painting guide, which covers the yellow sept Tau. I don't really know which sept that is. We also have more Tau painting. We also have some red armour Tau and some blue skin Tau. Ah, Vespid, I've not had to face you yet, and I wouldn't mind facing you. And Kroot, because Kroot. I think they've been eating the Orcs, given their skin colour. But yes, we have here a decent sized Tau force, standing in front of an Imperial building. And yeah, we have a lot of stuff that's transitioned over to finecast, namely the Shaper. They also spruik their air gun, which I've only heard bad things about. We're nearly at the end here anyway. So next we've got Forge World being talked about. So we've got the Minotaurs being shown off. We've got the Thunderhawk. We have here the old Landspeeder Tempest. Yeah, I think it was Tempest. And then we have Krieg. We have a better look at the Contemptor Dreadnought. which there is now a plastic one here in 2022. I am happy about that. I am probably not going to get it for a while. Next we have some flyers, including the Storm Eagle, which I would love to have one, but unless GW releases it in plastic, it's not going to happen, unless I convert it. Although, given GW are kind of pushing a lot of the Forge World stuff over into plastic, it might happen. I wonder if we'll get the Vulture, though. So the Vulture is an interesting one. It had the loadout options for many things, including swapping out all its under wing, because there's two different weapon options under the wing. It has a heavy bolter under the nose. You could swap it out for a pair of Punisher Gatling cannons off the Lehman, like the ones on the Lehman Russ, which was pretty damn potent. And we have a Manta, which a few different YouTubers have been doing at the moment. Come on, there's Squigma and Tabletop Time of Squigma, Tabletop Time, and someone else, I think, was doing it. Next we have Hour of the Witch, which is talking about the psychic phase. Now, armies that don't have psychic powers are the Necrons and Sisters of Battle and Dark Eldar. Basically, this edition introduced a number of psychic disciplines, which would get expanded on in 6th edition and then get completely thrown away in 8th. I liked pyrokinesis as a guy. I liked that one in 7th. But yeah. We also talk a bit more about it. We talk about some of the add-ons to the different codexes and changes. Now, alongside 6th edition, Forge World actually released a PDF, or maybe slightly after, updating the rules. Basically giving people updated rules for their stuff, so that they actually could run things with the new stats and make sure things worked. Which was a nice thing for them to do, rather than them charging for a whole new codex. Mind you, in 5th edition, they did have things like the Armoured Company list, and I think the Tyrant's Legion, and a few others. Death Corps Siege list, I think, as well, was PDF form. We have them with a few, I think, no, they're not Cadian. Not Catachan, sorry. Yeah, and then that's kind of the end of it, really. Like, there's a little bit more which talks about hobby stores. There's hobby store stuff. And then we have the plug for Golden Demon and Games Day, back when GW gave a damn about Australia. Come on, GW, you charge us more than enough for us to actually have a Games Day held in each state in Australia. Not just in Sydney, but in each state, rotatingly. So, realistically, it should be every second year or so, and it should be held at each state, because GW don't really do much in Australia. To be fair, GW have been kind of moving away from their own hobby to a degree. Like, they don't often like management don't seem to like hobbyists actually playing in their stores. And for more on that, go over to Northern Exile. He talks a lot about that. He was a former GW staffer in one of the suburbs in England. I think he worked at 2 different stores. But yeah, that happened in Redfern, Sydney, and the tickets were only $75. Cool. And you could buy them from your local GW, and GW's even got together a bus of people to go up, which was neat. Then at the back there's the thing for subscriptions, and then talking about Battle Brothers and Infernal Allies, which was going to be talked about more in the next issue. Then on the back we have someone's Ultramarine army, which does look pretty decent. We see Chaplain Cassius in there, and another chaplain. I don't see Cato Sicarius. I just see the standard captain, so it might be that times Uriel Ventress. Oh wait, no, Uriel hasn't got a replacement, hasn't got a cybernetic hand, who knows who it is. But yeah, we have an Ultramarine army on the back, so anyway, thank you guys for watching. I will be sharing more in future, and you can expect a few more hobby related videos next week. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Bye.